You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, me gente? This is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today, we're talking some indie comics goodness. I am talking to the crowdfunding king of anthologies, apparently here, all the way from Chi-Town. Geez, should I say that 10 times fast? Chi-Town. I mean, homie has got an annual anthology series called Crackle, right? And now he's got this dope new one out right now that has a huge amount of creators. I need to know how he built this. It's called Purple Eyes. It's going to be fire. Let me introduce this amazing creator, this writer, this big boss right here wearing his crown, the one, Leone, Phillip Maira. How you doing, kiddo?
Doing great, Al.
Brother, thank you for joining me. You really are the king of anthologies. I started looking it up, and you got this joint that you've been doing for the past couple of years, and people are like, yo, if you do an anthology, you need to mess with Phil, apparently. Chi-Town Phil. That's how they call you, Chi-Town Phil? That's awesome, bro. Thank you for doing what you do. I'm a big fan of anthologies myself, so, you know, you're talking to a man that this is right up his alley. This is what I enjoy, to get a sneak peek of so many different creative talents. I can't wait to even listen to how you even built such an arsenal of a team here, if you will. You built the only squad that Cobra will be jealous. Right? So talk to me, Phil. I've been saying Chi-Town. Where in Chi-Town you from? Exactly. Is it Chicago, Illinois, or?
Yeah, for those that are in Chicago area, I was in Old Town for a bit. I was in one area in Old Town. I'm in another area in Old Town.
What's Old Town?
It's a little bit. It's a couple parts a little north of the city. It's east of where Cabrini Green used to be, you know, where Candyman, like the movie Candyman.
Yes, thank you.
But for those that are Chicago locals, I live near what is locally called the Viagra Triangle, and it's this little area of Chicago of the city where it's like fancy restaurants. And it's usually the place where you see 3 times divorced guys with like very young women. And that's just what it's called. Like everyone knows it. My grandparents even know it. Like it's just
meaning that in that area, if you sell Viagra pills on the DL and some weed, you probably make a good bunch of money that night.
Yeah, that's how you make rent.
Hey, single guy, you may not be able to score unless you got this. All right, you old F you. How dare you? Anyway. Okay. So how was it growing up in Chi-Town, brother, in Old Town?
Yeah.
Who introduced you into fandom? I always love this. Like, who introduced you? Who put your first comic or your TV show in front of your eyes or in your hands? What's popular?
So we're bouncing around a couple of different origin stories, but yeah. So I'm from originally Chicago South suburbs, so roughly around the Chicago area. And like I'm in my early 30s. So same thing with most of my generations. We had the Spider-Man TV shows, X-Men TV shows, the cartoons, the obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies and cartoons, the tangential things like the Super Sentai,
Power Rangers. Spoiled generation. They had everything.
Oh man, we had every Saturday morning, everything was a banger. Everything was amazing. And then to tell you the truth, I'm a late bloomer. Like I'd never had that adult or even in the playground, no one like handed me comics for some reason. Yeah. And so when you
were a cartoon and toy kid growing up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I definitely had all the toys. Obviously, and like DBZ was big. So I had all those, but I just never. And the thing is, there were a plethora of comic shops around us and that are still active today. I just never had that, like I said, adult in my life, or it's just no one brought a comic book to the playground. It's not knowing that I was talking to for whatever reason.
How dare you? You thought you were too cool for comics, people?
I didn't say that. But so flash forward high school, and you know, a lot of the movies are starting to come out. You know, Spider-Man, Blade, X-Men movies, Sony's pumping out. But
so
also
the geeks start getting cool all of a sudden. Hey, what do you know about this?
Well, the more violent ones, so like Sin City and 300 and stuff. So that's when I started like getting a little bit more into it. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna read. I picked up my buddy had Sin City, so I borrowed that, and that was like end of high school, and so I think it's that summer of high school going into freshman year of college. That same buddy had the first trade of Walking Dead. And at that point, that was summer. That October is when season 1 on AMC started. So this was prior to like the big buzz. And we were at a party and we're gonna go to some street festival because there's like a lot of fun street things going on during the summertime. And I just kind of like went off into the other side of the room and just read it. Like I just kept reading it.
We're at a party, Phil. What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like a shitty guest. Like I'm just sitting there ignoring everyone I haven't seen in like a year. I just got absorbed because it was, like I'm used to that. Like I was familiar enough with the storytelling, like the way comics are, like the words and pictures, and like sit down and actually look at the pictures. Don't have your eyes bounce from balloon to balloon. Like actually look what's going on in the panels. And I was like, all right, well, I really like this. And we had to leave before I finished it. So I went to the library and I got that issue and I kept reading from there. And then I just did the usual thing of like going to Google and typing in like best comic books. And so I just, dive like head first into the Vertigos. Like I was reading Preacher and Hellblazer and all the fun stuff, and Sandman, which was above my head. But obviously Preacher was pretty base level for me. But just like the storytelling within that, like reading Preacher and like reading like Why the Last Man, like specifically like those two, why in Preacher, like the storytelling as far as a writer goes was like every issue seems self-contained enough. Like they built in on top of each other, and it's like chapters, like part of an arc. But you can read, they were pretty succinct. Like they weren't trying to, it didn't feel like a story that was supposed to be 60 pages long and you just got in like these 20-page chunks. It was very deliberately done. And I did.
Done. Yeah, very well done.
And so obviously from there, then I'm like, I was getting to whatever Vertigos I can see. Like Shade the Changing Man was huge too. That's just a psychedelic romp. Like there's just
but it's so funny how you see Shade from when they came out from the Ditko time up until you see what they did with Vertigo. It's like, God damn, what a difference!
As psychedelic as Ditko was, like
exactly.
Brandon McCarthy and
you know what's crazy, right? Ditko didn't bring that craziness, I think, to Shade the Changing Man, other than the concept, but it didn't have all that craziness of a Doctor Strange, for example, when he was working on that baby.
Yeah, but it's just so I just kept diving deep, and then once I got familiar enough with creators, like I said, artists like Brandon McCarthy, if he was doing something,
was he the first creator you kind of said, "Damn, I love everything this person does"? Was there any creator you felt that at the time?
Yeah, it was definitely Peter Milligan because he was doing a lot of small Vertigo stuff.
Peter Milligan writes, I know people by their Twitter handle.
Grant Morrison, when they were just doing so much stuff with Vertigo, and like roughly around the same time when I started getting really deep is when DC finally re-released. I can't remember Flex Mentallo.
Oh yeah,
first came back out, and they're for some reason they were begrudgingly reprinting it. And like it was for most people, it was an eye changer. It's like, well, first, Frank Whiteley's art is impeccable, and like there's
amazing
actual inked pages in the back for the back matter, and they're they're the most immaculate, no mistakes or erasers. Just like even the letterings on like his pages, it's just like jaw dropping.
Flex Mentallo, that's a great shot, because that is a dope book. Again, out there, especially if you're a Doom Patrol fan, you're gonna love the shit out of this, boy.
Yeah, it is somewhat of a quick read, but I mean, to me it's essential, just storytelling and just kind of like the craziness of comics. Like you look at like one page, and Frank and Grant like fill that page with just different, I don't know, like superhero like concepts, but like the characters are all dressed in different ways. I'm guessing that they're harking to like these C-rate DC characters, because they're all, you know, some of like those European creators, their big thing was like revamping the hidden characters or characters that were in, you know, in the 1960s or 70s for like 3 issues, and they were never used again. But man, yeah, and that just kept going deep.
I mean, isn't that how we got the African American Batman? There was a character that was hardly used in the 70s. You showed him in a few panels, you know, and then next thing you know, future state, he is Batman. He's like, oh, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? So I love when comic book companies do that, though. When they use those old characters, 2-3 issues, who cares? They existed. Let's make it fun.
Yeah. And it's usually the creators themselves have the initiative. It's like, hey, I want to play around with these group of characters, and they're, you know, most of the time the editors just shrug their shoulders, like, I don't even remember that character. It's like, all right, well, then
what the hell are you talking about? Go for it, whatever, right? And all of a sudden, it's like the biggest hit because they're like, holy shit, do you know what this was?
Yeah. I mean, Doom Patrol was like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think it was pretty buried and dead. I mean, yeah, Grant famously did Animal Man, and that was. Yeah, and that was just a psychedelic type of journey as well.
I mean, the Animal Man from the Virgo 90s, and then even Animal Man New 52 was something that I think was so well done, yo. So well done. Animal Man is a character, man. When put in the right hands, holy shit, does he become so interesting.
And it has like the silliest concept. Just
it does, but it's wild then at the end of the day, because then, you know, you find out through the New 52, you know, the Animal Man is more of a representative of life. So think almost like a White Lantern, almost, you know, kind of feel to it. And then you got the Swamp Thing, which is part of that, but he's part of the green. But then we're talking about the one thing that destroys both life and the green, the rot, which is that red. I mean, dude, what they did with the New 52 and presenting all that and those new mythos and the way they connected Animal Man and Swamp Thing as part of this whole greater Earth thing, you know, with life and the green and the rot. Wild shit, bro. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kept going more, and I was, you know, from there I get into, you know, the Fantagraphics, the drawing and quarterlies.
Oof.
And then you expand more out. Like I said, the Dragon Ball Z was a huge thing. Toonami was big for me growing up. So then I go, you know, you go into manga, and you go into.
What was your first manga?
I'm trying to think. It was probably like I had Shonen Jump when they first started, because I was young enough, and I said I wanted.
When they first started, look at this guy, Jesus Christ! Tell me you still kept them.
Yeah, it was. I remember had to get that by mail. So yeah, getting those Shonen Jumps, and like it's crazy thinking on the back, because I just knew DBZ was in it. But like the first Shonen Jumps in America, so those had like DBZ. I remember it had. I forgot how to pronounce it, like Hikari no Go, and that was the series before, or no, but maybe it's just the main artist. The main artist ended up doing Death Note, and it was crazy just thinking that was a board game, manga that I actually enjoyed reading, which I had no idea how to play the board game, and then the dude does Death Note, which is obviously everyone's favorite.
My daughter had me buying her the black editions.
Yeah, the bulky ones. That's how I read them.
That's what she wanted to me. Anytime we go to Barnes and Noble, all right, I need the next one. I'm like, oh my god, these things ain't cheap. But you know what? As I perused through them, I said, shit, ad free? Fuck yeah, bro. I'm all about this. Ad free, non-disturbed reading. Yes, please bring it my way.
Yeah, and then I just keep going. You know, nothing. I mean, I started gravitating, my reading habits start drifting from like 10% comics, 90% prose, novels and stuff. And then it gets to like 50-50. And then now it's like the majority of what I read is comics versus, you know, any type of prose. And, you know, there was a part where roughly around, 7 or 8 years of reading comics. and just really enjoying it. I kind of had this like, all right, well, maybe, I don't have any writing background type of thing, but I've in high school and college, I've had to take different creative writing courses. But like, all right, let me try to write a script and just see what happens.
All right.
And so at that point, I was super lucky. There was plenty of professional scripts available. I think Comics Experience has a repository for people to look at that are professional scripts.
Comics Experience is boss. Let me tell you, man. A lot of people that have come through my podcast have come through Comics Experience. And I love how they talk about them, because it's like, these people kind of set me with some guidelines, and I learned. So it's like no one is telling me that I have not learned from Comics Experience, which is great.
Yeah, and like tangentially, that's how I got it, because like I never did any of their courses. They have these resources on their website for free. You don't have to log in or anything. So
isn't that amazing? They support you nonetheless. Like, you don't have to believe in us. Here's the resources. Proof of concept almost, right?
Yeah, because tell you the truth, if I didn't have that, then I would be very further along. Like, I developed quicker as a comic book script writer based off of the resources that they just had. Because if not, like, I always think about this too, is the skills, like, I'm going to go a little bit more into like my creating comics journey, but if I was trying to create comics maybe a decade beforehand, if I was starting to do it in the mid 2000s, then it'd be more, I would say, feral. Like, it'd just be more me in the woods trying to figure out how to survive and make fire.
Looking like Stick from Daredevil, right? Oh man, where am I going? Hold on. Don't mess with me. I know what I'm doing. I just need to know where to go. Yeah,
because like you go to a comic shop and every once in a while there might be a script in a trade or something like that. Or like there might be a script somewhere, but then you'd have to like ask someone in customer service, ask them like where, which ones have this, before like the internet became pretty big. But yeah, it's the same thing with finding artists. If I had to start off in like the mid 2000s trying to find artists to collaborate with, I'd be at a horrible disadvantage. I'd have to be the same thing. I'd go to my comic shop and say, do you know any pencilers?
Bulletin board. Can I put this up on the bulletin board, please?
Basically, yeah. It's like bands back in the day too.
Yeah, I hear you, but isn't that crazy? So how did you learn to navigate finding artists for your project? Because you're coming off as a fan that decided to just jump into the world of creation. So how did you even, besides just looking up at those boards for Comic Experience, like how did you navigate and even learn how to gauge artists for what you wanted?
Yeah, my initial baby steps. So I ended up spending 2 months to write that script, and I knew. Well, reading like how to like write comic scripts, every bit of advice that I saw specifically said, do not work on your 30 issue magnum opus, at max 10-page story. And so I end up doing a 5-page story because I figured beat wise you can do 1 page beginning, 3 pages of middle, and like 1 page conclusion type of thing.
Okay.
So I ended up writing a script based off an idea or just like a premise of like a young mother goes to visit her parents for Christmas, and it's Christmas Eve, and the father asks the daughter like, where's your husband? And the daughter says, I don't know. And so that was my initial, I explored what actually happens next. So I wrote that script, and as far as finding collaborators go, it was around October when I completed the script. And at that point, Inktober was still a very, very used
hot thing.
Yeah. So I was just getting, I was naturally just always on social media. I was just following so many artists that, I was able just to peruse the hashtag, and I found Hannah Wenzel from Germany, and she had an illustration. And I really liked the art, and I saw that she had some previous comic work. And so I asked her if she'd be interested and collaborating with the story. Like, here's the script. Like, let me know if if you like the script, and then we can talk from there. And yeah, we ended up working on that. Around the same time, I did another script of my second script was someone dealing with cancer, probably not in the best mental and emotional state. And I ended up collaborating with Kishore Mohan, and Aditya Bidikar did the letters for that. And it's just, those were the first two scripts that I wrote, and I just kept writing from there. But it's just crazy to think back, like Hannah didn't really like I said, she had some comics experience, but she really didn't like it. She kind of was just an illustration artist. And now she has, since the 4 years since we've collaborated, she has 2 huge books in the German market for comics. And there's a third one coming out. And Kishore, he's done really good stuff. He's collaborated with Ram V, Ram V that's now writing Batman.
Yeah, the Mighty Ram, as he goes by on Twitter. Yeah.
And Aditya Bidikar basically wins every letter award every single year between Eisner's and Ringo's and stuff. It's just crazy. Those were my first experiences.
Wow.
The best. I chose wisely.
And that wasn't on purpose. It just happened to be, right?
Yeah, we're just all in that. Well, mostly them. They were all the creators that I was talking to were in this pre-burst stage, right before their career started. I didn't assist in that. I was able to.
You met them when Mama was carrying on them already for 9 months. That's when you met them, and then they came out. You're like, holy shit, what's up, guys? Welcome to the world. I'm like, glad to meet you.
But it's like trusting your collaborators. So even early on, if there's any newer creators out there, always trust your collaborators. I still do this too. Whenever I collaborate, I always have a completed script, because then we can discuss what works, what doesn't work, and I'm not wasting the artist's time to say, hey, I'm still writing the script, and then a month later I might still be writing the script. At least I have the script ready, and we can talk about what doesn't work and what does work, and then we can start doing revisions, because then artists have very tight schedules, and they're scheduling multiple projects.
Yeah.
Even if it's a colorist, and especially letterers, as long as I have my initial part, I should say, good to go, and then we can go off to the race and start doing the fun part of actually creating the story for people to read.
Woo! And let's talk about creating, because now you got this live Kickstarter that has 15 days to go.
15, right? Yeah.
I mean, you got 159 backers. You need 18 racks. You got 5,600, approaching 5,700, $3 away. Come on, at least get us to those $3 right now, so that way we could have an even number, folks. But talk about Purple Eyes, because this is killing me. You're talking about what would you do with only 73 minutes to live? You have 33 creators that invite you to a world where 73 minutes before you die, your eyes turn purple. I mean, don't scare me, man, because sometimes I probably smoke so much weed it does turn purple. So talk to me. What is Purple Eyes? This whole concept, and 33 creators. Talk about even handling that amount of talent to create one project.
Yeah. So as you kind of mentioned, I've had an annual series called Crackle, and so after the third Crackle completed, one of the stories that I wrote within it was the original Purple Eye story, and some of those preview pages are on the Kickstarter page. And Sean Dicker did the art. Justin Birch, Ringo nominated Justin Birch, did the letters, and it was just a wonderful experience. And I should also mention, whenever I write short stories, my short stories always have a beginning, middle, and end. I never have anything end on cliffhangers. I want the reader to feel like they got a completed story.
Nice.
So when we completed that initial Purple Eye story, those characters, their story ended. So, but that initial premise of in this world, 73 minutes before you die, your eyes turn purple, and it's 100% accurate. It happens for every single person, and there's absolutely nothing to do.
And this is just like a timestamp that Earth gives you or something?
It's kind of a way to say like this really weird thing happened, and now people are trying to quantify it and try to find reason within it. So like one of my favorite stories is The Leftovers, the TV series. I never read the book. Okay. And that had a similar premise where 2% of the world population disappeared. And so during those 3 seasons, they explored.
Hopefully it was 2% of the assholes anyway.
it was like a random selection, even babies. Like
that means good people left.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny because like there are some like quote unquote assholes in the world that like fake that they got disappeared, but then they find them like in Cancun hanging out. They're just wanting like they can get away. But yeah, I just love that premise of this funny. Super strange thing happens, and then people being people try to find either spiritual answers to it, like scientific answers to it, hence why trying to quantify it into 73 minutes. But yeah, so for this was a larger scale anthology, and I ended up getting 185 pitches.
What?
Yeah, it was a lot.
Whoa, bro! How did you handle that? I mean, because your goal is to find 33 creators. Is that half and half writer artists or 33 teams?
Well, it's a mix. So like I initially wanted just 12 stories to be within this book, okay. But then getting all those pitches and seeing all the variety of ideas of creators like with their pitches and their creative arts, like the art portfolios. There's just too many brilliant ideas and like I said, highly talented artists that I expanded from 12 to 18. So this book has 18. And what was commonly like said is like I didn't play matchmaker. Like I asked for all creative teams to be established when you pitched. So there was I'd say like a third of them are what I would call like true cartoonists. So people that do all like the people that most of us envy, that can write really well and draw really well and do lettering and coloring like astronomically. So there's a few of those. And there's some that have all 4. So writer's a person, artist is a person, letter is a person, colorist is a separate person. But yeah, just like looking at all the creative teams, and it sucked because I say no to a lot of my friends. Like it was just purely based off the art and the pitch.
Well, your friends is talented though, at least. Just the other people had just a slightly little more edge, right?
Yeah, I mean
I don't want them to feel butthurt. Don't you dare try to leave my boy Phil here, guys. He only did it usually for now.
So we ended up getting, like I said, 33 of us creators, 18 stories. All of I tried. The reason is because there was a good mix and balance of themes. Like there's a boxing story, there's a medical drama, there's three different comedy ones, and the reason why they got in is because I laughed out loud when reading their pitches. Like they were legit funny.
So once they made you feel good, they're like, all right, that's it, it's a wrap.
Yeah. And there's like some of them are gallows humor, some are just kind of funny. It's like on the other side, there's 3 revenge stories, and one of them's one of the humor ones. One of them's like an action movie revenge, and the other one's kind of like a petty revenge type of like almost rom-com-ish.
You made me spill my ice cream. I'll get you back.
But it's just like, it was just this wide variety of ideas, and within those pitches that I accepted, they were pretty well formed, like completed ideas. And I can see the shape of the way that the stories were going to be. And one of the key things that's very unique about this anthology is we're trying to, like, all the creators are meeting about once a week, once every other week, because people are all over the world. We're meeting on Zoom, and we're finding methods to link these stories together, both narratively and visually, because there's so many different art styles. So like visually, we're coming up with like character models and like ways that we can visually tell, like so we have like a character that'll bounce between several different stories. Then you have to like figure out like, all right, well, what's their key item? Like, are they have like a really badass jacket? Do they have like a unique hairstyle? Like something that can be easily recognizable, that someone can see.
Do they have a big white goatee? I know.
So yeah, and then like same thing with narratively, we're just trying to like, all right, well, the sibling, like the character in story 3, that main character is the sibling of story 12. And like they have their cousins, like the story of 17, like things of that nature. And it doesn't, I shouldn't, this sounds like kind of hubris, but it doesn't really take that much effort. I mean, it takes effort, and I think it's just more of a communication thing. So hence why the Zoom meetings and always communicating through email. It's just these little ways we can make this experience best for the reader.
Absolutely.
And the idea that we have is that, so at the very end, like the back cover of the trade, because this is going to be a bulky book. This is going to be 140 pages.
Woo! 140 pages, man. What?
Yeah.
I miss those days, my brother. Thank you.
So,
with our book.
So at the very end, Jack Foster is doing the cover, and I know you can't see it here. We're going to do a cover reveal in the next couple days. Who's the front cover reveal, and he's a fantastic traditional artist, like pen and paper or ink on paper, but he's amazing with watercolors.
And what's up with this image here? Because is purple the only color we're going to be seeing?
So that's a good point. So this was the original Purple Eye story, and Sean Dicker and I felt that the best visually to represent that story was to have this, like I told you in the beginning, Sin City was like one of my entry points, to have like that Sin City limited color palette kind of pop type of thing. But this is a full color. It'll be full color with all the other creative teams. Like, to my knowledge, no one's expressed to me that they want to pursue this type of limited color palette storytelling device. And if you go, like, you can eventually go down to all the Meet the Creator section, but I'd be very remiss if some of the phenomenal colorists that are on this project only get to play around with this, little
color.
And it's just these people that can just do amazing.
I need a colorist, but all you're gonna do is color purple. All right.
Yeah.
Oprah, don't be getting mad now.
So yeah.
Look at this though. It's beautiful though. I mean, I always want to point something out, because Johnny, I know you get mad at me. I love multiple panels. So you look at you got like 5-6 panels on this one page. It's gorgeous, bro. And then the different sizes, the lettering and all. I mean, you built a team that respects the art and such a appealing to the eye, if you will, eye movement.
Yeah.
I'm digging it, bro.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of the people, they're true artists. And one of the things that I'm always proud about is, like I said, this is my 4th anthology. I'm always...
4th.
Yeah, 4th.
Give him the crown, folks. He's the king of Kickstarter anthologies. What I'm trying to tell you, yo. The 4th.
I mean, as soon as I get done with one, I mean, my last anthology Kickstarter, I sent out the books in January, and I started having pitch submissions for this in February. Like,
Jesus Christ, yo. What is it about you and anthologies, Phil?
I love the short story. Like, I like the variety. And one thing, and the key thing that that I do in this book, in this anthology, like I've done with all my own other anthologies, I like the randomness. Like, I like going into the stories cold. So, like, you read an anthology and you finish like the first couple stories, and then you get to like the next story, you turn the page and you see like the art credit, and you don't know what the next story, you don't know what the story is going to be. You turn the page, you see the new art, and you start reading the page. You kind of like, you get a feel like, all right, is this going to be a comedy? Is this going to be a drama? Is this going to be action-y? Like you as the reader discover, like, it's as cold opening as you can get. And I really like that. That's why I didn't limit the genre for this. I had it as open as possible, so the reader can get that experience of, like, when the twists happen, they're not like gotcha M. Night Shyamalan twists. Like they're like legit twists. And like I said, some of those twists are the punchline of a joke, and some of the twists are like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming, but that kind of made sense. That was like on page 1, kind of. There's like things of that nature.
So what's this right here? Cause I highlighted that. What are death cards and custom commission add-ons? What's that?
So yeah, I got a sandwich of these left because these are the hot tickets. So one of the things that we thought would be unique, because we have such, like I said, amazing artists and people from all over the world. So we have something what we call death cards, and we tried figuring out a nice little cheap incentive. It's only 15 American dollars for it plus shipping, and it's like a index card size illustration of the Grim Reaper with a purple flower. And so we leave it up to the artist to interpret that. Like as long as those two components are there, like you can have, like I said, like have the Grim Reaper from like the Adventures of Billy and Mandy, or you can have like a piranha plant like from Mario. Like you can do like pop culture mashups, or you can do like.
Oh my god, yo, that Adventures of Billy and Mandy, yo, yes, you may see these white hairs, but I'm young at heart, and I was watching the shit out that show too. So kudos on that one, yo. I dig it.
Like I left it up to the artists, because like have fun with it. It's a small commission, and then the other commissions that we have is I thought it was pretty brilliant. Roberto Debukes, who's known as Rad Pencils on all the social medias, he's like, all right, we'll do the usual custom commissions of, movie, TV character, comic character you want. But instead, it'd be like regular size, it's a decent sized commission piece. Okay. But the caveat is that they'll do ink on paper, but they'll also color whatever character has purple in there. So like they said, like the Green Goblin's costume with the burst of purple. Yeah. I just thought it was like super neat, because even if, like I said, regardless, the point of like getting some of these perk add-ons is that you have an extra cool thing. Yeah. So
we need your own version of a purple man then.
But like if you have something like you put it on your fridge, you put it on your wall, and like 2 years later after this Kickstarter, you still have a cool thing that you can show people. Like people are like, oh, what's that? Where'd that come from? Because it's, like I said, having your own character, like having your favorite, TV show character or comic book character with purple on there. That's, you're gonna like, oh, that's cool. Like I can tell that person finished the drawing. Like
my homie, I love that. That's what I do with my family, because they always ask me, because they're not into the culture like I am. I'm, other than my brothers, when it comes to the rest of my family, whether, blood or extended, we are the only ones, my brothers and I, that are all about this pop culture shit on this level.
Yeah.
So anytime I have something new, Phil, it's like, oh, what is that? Can you explain to me? So I said, all right. So let me do my Omega mansplaining for a moment.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Hold on, sir. Sit down, grab a beer. Let me explain. And I love it. And mansplaining is not bad, folks. Because believe you me, I've been on the worst end of women's splaining too. So don't even try to say that y'all don't do the same. All right.
It's just passion. That's all it is.
It's passion, exactly. So I get woman splaining, man splaining, all types of splaining. Yeah. You don't want to know, bro. This is why I have this. I have to tolerate it. Anyway, but bro, I want to talk about this page. Look, it's a purple book. But look at this heavy usage of green here.
Okay, so you got to scroll ahead. So these, I should say.
Bro.
Let
me move on.
I got to bring some more dong into comics. So this is actually the story. These are the sample pages from Crackle. So this is actually Head Above Water that Kishore Mohan and Aditya Bidikar did. So, so these are some of the. Just part of one of the tiers is that you can get, I call it all the anthologies. So you can get the three previous Crackle anthologies as well as the new book.
What? We could get everything? Oof.
To me, I make it as as advantageous as possible. So it's $45 to get all 4 anthologies, but it's basically
that's
at
a bargain, bro.
because it's 250 pages of stories. Like
Oh
that,
my god, bro, that's a bargain. I mean, look at the beauty of this
and it's
one
physical
page.
copy too. It's not like it's all digital. So
That's what I'm saying. Look at the beauty of this this page right here. You got 12 panels, uber word bubbles, so beautifully placed that doesn't disrupt the art on any level. I mean, yo, gorgeous. And look at that. Like he said, Crackle Volume 1. Then we got more coming here. Again, look at the look at this art. Oh, my homie, what? Yo, you sure you're not from Queens? Where Low End Theory, one of the greatest hip hop albums ever.
The best part is that story's set in the year, I think it's 2072, or it's either 2072 or 2073. I can't remember.
And it's still popping.
That's what I'm saying. Like what's gonna be like the best, like something that ages over 50 years. I'm like,
oh my god, bro! Thank you. This is just turned. I think I just got another gray hair out of nowhere, thanks to you. But again, look at the beauty of these pages. Again, even going throwback, son. I mean, crazy. And look at this, the coloring, panel usage. Like, yo, for real. I mean, here we have an African American young man. So, can you tell me a little about A Romance in the Stone, named after one of my favorite movies from back in the day too?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. I like Eddie Grant did a song for that soundtrack. I really like that song. That's why I named it. I never watched the movie, but I listened to that song.
What? Please watch the movie, bro. You're gonna be like, you know what? It may sound like not something that you would think, but it's a truly adventure film, even though it's called Romance in the Stone. Really cool. I think they did a great job with it, and guilty pleasure for Al. I dig it, man, and I need headphones like that too. Look at homie. Ooh, look at it. Now this looks so A Tribe Called Quest-ish, based on that album cover. Whoa. Did they lose themselves in El Segundo? What happened?
No, Lee Dean did this, and in the script, I forget how I worded it. I said like a weird fantasy land, and he was just like, he brought the color palette of like, it's like, yeah, we'll do like a Southwest psychedelic type of like color palette, and showed me all like visually the types of things that he was thinking of.
For me, bro, just looking at this one page, I feel like I took peyote.
Well, you should also look like there's a gigantic jellyfish that floats and changes colors. So that was another fun part of this.
Oh, don't fuck. What peyote to the core, son? Wepa, Dios mío, son. What's going on here? I mean, look at homie. Somebody moving in. They needed 2 trucks. Jeez. All right.
I mean, like I said, that's what collaborating with true artists is. Like, some of this is in the script, some of it's in the initial thumbnails, but like every single stage of the creation process, you just build and you try to make it as most exciting as possible for the reader. Yeah. So here's all the amazing creators.
I so wish I could get my cat to sleep in my head like that. That would be funny. Wow, that's so cute. Shout out to my kitty Autumn, the comic crusading kitty. Then we got CJ's Salamander, Castro Jr., Chris Mauro, Divaki Yogi, Devison Maines, Galen Hakey. I hope I got that right.
Like, look at those colors.
Ilaria Fella, wepa. Hell yeah, yo, murdering.
Jack Foster. Who's
shit, bro. Everybody, don't talk about it, but that's the Phantom in real life right there. So don't ask for that stress. We got Jao Canola, Jimmy. Oh my God, how do you say his last
name? I've met Jimmy. He's in the next state over. I can never pronounce his last name.
Right. Yeah, so Jimmy K, Justin Birch, Keaton Miller, Kevin Sharp, Kaya Aiko, Leonio Moore, Llewellyn Polanco.
Yeah, Llewellyn Polanco.
I love the hair, man. I love that wild ass hair. Liam Page Hill, Mario Candelaria. I know Mario. Bro, you need to stop eating Wendy's. Subway. You need to go to the cheapest spot. Everything's named after a blunt, but it's so good, those sandwiches. Trust me, as good as any blunt can be. Nah, Michael Myers, not. Wow.
I
See,
can't pronounce. I forget what his name is.
Raymond Cheetah, Roberto
It was Roberto.
Duque, Robin Davis, Scott Arnold, Shadia Amin, Sky Bergren. I hope I got that right. Steven Charles Rosia. Wepa, bro. Look at him side, bro. Looking like Wolverine. William McLaughlin and more. Let's talk about that budget so you guys know where your money is being spent.
Yeah,
I mean,
49% super important.
This is beautiful. 49% go to the creative team.
Yeah.
Well, why that decision, Phil?
So I probably should have mentioned this way in the beginning, but one of the key things about like running an anthology, if anyone's thinking about doing it, is to pay your artists a fair page rate. And one of the things when budgeting for this, like I said, I initially wanted 12 stories, was to like, I'm not going to name names, but there were a few pitches, like other anthologies with open pitch submissions that were charging $50 page rates. And and I forget whatever. I think it was like 50 USD, and there was another one that was doing 50 euros. And that's predatory. Like, no, like I'm very happy. How to describe this? A lot of newer creators are on this project, and I want them to understand and ask for better and fair page rates, and that's why
basically know their value.
Yeah, because they're spending, like, and any creator, if you're starting out, you're going to be super excited and take any chances possible. As soon as you get the yes, you don't really care about how much work and effort and time it's going to take for you to complete your portion. And then the flip side of compensation, and sometimes you don't even get compensated for some really bad editors running anthologies, but like, you're just so excited for any opportunity. But that shouldn't be, the standards shouldn't be that low. You should, like, not market, but like the collective indie comics community should be trying to like rise in value and like increase the value, and just to make it as healthy as possible, and like have that entry point for newer creators to earn some extra bucks and like pay the bill with like a short story that they did in an anthology, versus them getting
at least pay their cable bill.
Like,
at least pay that damn cable bill. Come on, something.
Yeah, so that was super important to me. Just like I said, especially with just so many newer creators that are on this project, that I want them to get to learn these values early on in their creative process and creative career. So the vast majority of the, half the money is going to the creators. It's probably gonna be a little bit more than the 49%, depending on the budget, because I had so much more money for wiggle room. But yeah, it's like the usual stupid stuff: Kickstarter fees, credit card fees, taxes, and then printing and
taxes.
Shipping. And the rest. Yeah, all the fun stuff.
You know why United States independent creators need tax breaks more than you think? So you need to start giving it to them, because they're creating new shit that's gonna make you money that you capitalize on. So you need to support these type of creators with some tax breaks, I think. Well, let's talk about, if we can't get a tax break, let's talk about at least putting some money behind the amazing projects you got right now.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going into the creator's pocket. I'm not taking any cut whatsoever. And so one of the other things that I stressed, like, to the creators is, to harken back on what I mentioned, like, creators should be paid for their work. I told all the creators, I don't expect anyone to start doing their stories until the Kickstarter is funded and I send over the first 50% of the, of their whatever, their page rate. So, I don't want people to work, I don't want people to work and then they have to wait 3 months until the Kickstarter is completed and then I send them the money. I was like, no, I'm like, it's fine. If you want to begin beforehand, and I can, share some stuff on the campaign page, but like, you should be paid for your work. And unless, when I send that money over, then you can begin. And I've allotted and scheduled enough time for everyone to have
beautiful
3 months for people to complete their stories. That's when I asked for at least 3 months deadline. I mean, I had the hard deadline of when the pages need to be received so I can send to the printer and do all that stuff. But like I said, if you are doing any type of art and you're spending time like hours upon hours, like 8 to, I forget what the average is, but it's like 8 to 12 hours of work needs to be put into a page between, writing the script and doing the various stages of development. And if you're doing that for free with the hopes of either getting some type of back compensation percentage wise, which I've seen in some anthologies, or even, issue 1s or issue 2s, like short story or, longer narratives, it's not sustainable, and it's not good for the artists. The artists need to get, if you do work, you should get paid. To me, it's not that challenging, but then I see Kickstarters and and I'm like, oh, well, this is a pretty crappy deal for the artist and pretty good deal for the writer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and those are things that happen. Unfortunately, that's the business. So, I think artists, writers both need to get more educated on this and understand how much of a collaborative effort this is. Because I know the writer has the vision, but without the artist, with your vision, unless you know how to draw, be fulfilled. So, be fair, folks. So check this out. You could bletch without a reward for 10 beans, right? But for 15, we getting a digital copy. I mean, we're talking about 140 plus pages of story. And your choice is PDF or CBR for 15 beans, right? Now for $20, right up $25, this is right up my alley. We get not just the digital, but we getting the physical that you could go ahead, open that book up to the center and smell the ink. Yeah, let's get her done. So again, over 140 pages of content for $25. I mean, there are some graphic novels that sell for $24.99 that are less than 100 pages. Let's be honest.
And the only reason it's so high is because I want.
It's not high though. That's what I was trying to point out.
Yeah.
I've seen graphic novels with less pages. Get sold for this very same price. So it's like you're offering me a lot more value, something with some weight to it. But if my kid misbehaves, I'd be like, yo, smack him on top of the head with it, they're gonna feel it,
Yeah.
Not that I would smack my head on top of the kid. She's 21. She would probably call the cops on me right now.
Yeah.
For $45, look at this though. Holy crap. For $45, you get fizzies. You get fizzies of not just Purple Eyes, but Crackle Volume 1, 2, 3, and then. So that way when you get them and you can keep them mint, you're getting digital copies on top of that. For $45, I mean, you cannot. These are hundreds upon hundreds of pages of content, folks, for $45. I mean, no better deal. And this is great. I love when somebody does this for retailers. Folks, retailers, listen up. 5 copies, 75 beans right here. All right? And again, you're selling them for $20 a pop at 5 copies. So do the math yourself. It's like getting 2 copies for free.
Yeah.
All right. Based on retail costs.
And on top of that, like as you can see right there, I've been fortunate enough that Crackle has been supported by many comic shops all over the United States for a number of years. And
look at that. Yeah, but look at this. I mean, AF Books, Chicago Comics, Challengers, G-Mart, which I heard of. Yeah, Atomic Books, 4th of Midnight, Cosmic Monkey Comic, Cosmic Comic Adventures, Dragon Layers, just the name of fruit, Emerald City Comics. Wepa, salute to you guys.
Yeah, and I've been, like I said, very fortunate they've sold out, and I've had to restock a good chunk.
Sold out. Hey, yeah. So you see, folks, you see comic shops. People want indie. They want these anthologies created by my man here.
But if any indie people like listening, the thing that I messaged these comic shops asking if they'd, have my books, but to help incentivize and help them sell the books, I made custom bookmarks. Now that we're visual, give me a second. I got a bookmark.
So he does custom. See, he offers an incentive to the shop to include with the project. How awesome is that?
Yeah. So like for Crackle, I have these
that big. Hey, look at that.
I have these custom bookmarks. So they're larger than normal. Like I chose the largest as I could from the printer, and then that's the cover.
Nice.
And so it's nice and pretty, and it says all the Crackle stuff.
And you can scan and buy some more. As soon as you finish, you're like, damn man, I need some more. You just go into that bookmark, take a picture, and you can buy some more.
Yeah, I mean the idea is like I give them a decent amount. I give them like 15, 20 different bookmarks and for the comic shops, because the idea is that they just have it on the table, and then the reader comes back two weeks later like, oh yeah, this bookmark that I've been using for these last 2 weeks on my books, like what's up with this thing, and that that way that the comic shops can help sell the books better.
I want to talk about this though, because you're talking about my ass being drawn into a book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So either by two different artists, it could either be William McLaughlin or it could be Roberto Duque Huepa for 100, which is the deal. I've seen this be so much higher. I mean, I could be drawn into the comic either getting killed or just walking around in the background, coming to the bodega, getting a bacon, egg, and cheese. You know what I mean?
So if you scroll all the way down, we had I think 5 different artists with this opportunity with various slots. Like those got gobbled up pretty quick. Even Williams and Roberto's.
I see this Steven Doria too. Wepa, yeah, you're murdering it. But you even already sold out on one, so these things are hot.
Yeah, so everything we tried budgeting it, so I mean you get the book, so you get the $25 book, so it's really only $75 to be drawn into a couple panels of a story. And I always say, in the worst case scenario, you don't like how you were drawn, it was only $75 and you still get the book. Oh, Al, I think you're muted on my end. I don't know. Let me see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I lowered it a little bit. What I'm saying is, could you imagine paying that amount of money, to get murdered maybe in 3 pages? It's well worth it. Even if you don't like it, it's brag.
Yeah.
And it's bragging rights. I mean, I would love to be able to tell my Crusaders, did you see I'm going to get killed on page 5?
Just rip off the page and put it on your fridge. Be like, look.
No, I would never ever disrespect the comic in such a way. Even when I did this back here, that I did some comic art on it, I was praying to the comic god, please don't punish me for chopping this up.
But yeah, we try to give as much as possible. Like as we're creators, we just want to see, and I've backed over 100 Kickstarters. So like the vast majority of, I think one or two of them were comic books, but that's because those comic book people decided to do a regular book. So, so it was, I'm always supporting. And so I'm what I want to see, what I back and where I throw my money at in the stories I want to see and the perks I want to see. So,
I love it. And I want to show us just one more time before I ask the next question. Because, we're getting on to the time. But folks, check it out, folks, right? This is what you got to do. I need you guys to show the love hardcore, all right? Right now, he has 15 days to go, half a month.
Uphill.
All right? Half a month. He has that 1/3 of the goal as of right now, kind of. All right? So let's please start making it rain.
Yeah.
All right, don't make Phil start doing videos on stripper poles to make it rain. I mean, that might be coming this weekend, so you can make the next goal. I only play it, but I'm just saying, support indie. You got to listen to this. There's a story about having 73 minutes to live, your eyes turn purple, and you have 33 creators. You heard me? 33 creators inviting you into this world. I mean, that's amazing. You're going to have so many different views and perspectives and beautiful art and writing. And this one amazing anthology that's over 140 pages. You understand me? Over 140 pages. Wonderful. I mean, this is something you read on the plane. You're on the beach. Or maybe I'm on the beach because I want you to get the sand on the sun and ruin the colors. Protect this book because it's going to be worth a lot of money one day because Phil is killing it. So, Phil, with that,
Yep.
You know, this is your fourth Kickstarter, right?
Third Kickstarter, fourth anthology.
Yeah. There you go, fourth anthology. So talk about just a piece of advice that you could give any up and coming creators. You know, like when you stepped in, like what should they be doing, following, especially if they want to have a crowdfunding project like yours?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, in your budget, like you kind of see how I did the full budget, where I thought of all the ancillary fees, but I gave myself wiggle room because during the last Kickstarter that I had, that wiggle room helped because my printer didn't have print shortages that much. Their prices didn't increase. I know friends had issues with that, but the shipping prices increased internationally, and especially I had one go to New Zealand and 3 go to Australia, and so all those places are basically cut off shipping wise. I was able to, unless you want to pay express. So like the base rates have been shut off since last September.
Oh wow.
Whatever that was. Or no, maybe it's just maybe it's only been maybe it's been a little over 6 months. But yeah. So then that's where some of the money came in, especially international shipping. But look, one of the things I'll give you a good tip. If you made it this far, I'll give you one of my good tips. Regardless if you're doing crowdfunding or if you're just, have a debut book out, one thing that I always find helpful is to have a doc with pre-made social media posts. So Twitter, have a section for Twitter because of the character count limit. And then I have one that just is a section for Instagram and Facebook. And just super easy because when you're not feeling, if you're not feeling up to it, you can just copy and paste and post it. And it's always helpful too with these larger anthologies. Then you can share it with your creative teams and say the same thing. Like, I trust you. If you want to post, I trust you're not going to
please share.
Yeah. I know, if you do want to post, but you don't know the right verbiage type of thing, or you can
Here
just
it goes. It's a template.
Yeah.
Oh man, I do the same thing for my own shit sometimes. Like I have a template, if you will, and then you can add in the rest of your own verbiage if you don't want it to sound so generic, and that's that.
Yeah,
but it helps with our time management.
And on the flip side too, like I always I'm mostly on Twitter because of the easiness of the visuals and the link sharing, but I always schedule my posts like in the future. So like when I'm, I always collaborate with a large amount of international creators. So they might be, when I'm asleep, they might be waking up or like being in the middle of their day. So I always schedule posts for the middle of the night. And I always have most of those posts or incentives for digital, because if you're on the other side of the globe, as I was complaining about, international shipping sucks. And you're going to get more international people getting digital. So I always try to schedule tweets in the middle of the night that are digital focused, like, $15. This is what all you get. You get all these stories from all these creators and all these pages. Or I just have, sometimes I have posts that just straight up say international shipping sucks. Here's the digital.
But here's the digital, don't mess around. Too funny. I love it. But you heard, folks, there you go. Advice, because homie's been killing it on Kickstarter, and he got this amazing project right now. I'm gonna show you one more time where you gotta go.
Yeah.
Kickstarter.com projects Phillip Maira. That's MAIRA/Purple Eyes Volume 1. Just look up Purple Eyes Volume 1 anywhere on Google.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make it all fancy. And please support this, because again, it's not just Phil, it's 33 different creators.
Yeah.
You can't get anything better than this, especially in the form of anthology. It's it's humor, it's heartache, it's humility. 18 stories, 33 creators, 73 minutes to live. What would you do? Hey, I love it. So, and of course, I need you to follow Big Phil on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Phillip Maira. That's PHILLIMPMAIRA. Phillip Maira. All right. And then, of course, check out the website. Same thing. His name, phillipmaira.com. That's 2 L's in Phillip. All right. Check it out. You're going to love it. Please support, show the love. Tell them Mega sent you because Purple Eyes is the business. 15 days to go. Let's get her funded, folks.
We got
show
this.
Love. Show love, especially to amazing anthologies. I'm a big fan of this. So thank you, Phil, for doing what you do. Flowers time. Thank you. Thank you. As a comic book fan, for just you being brave and bold to do what you do. Share those stories. And even the way that you do it, where you're not just, sharing story, but you're blessing other creators with opportunity. You're doing God's work, my brother, in this field. So good on you. I wish you nothing but success and love and happiness through this because you're doing something very special. So, for real, to the king of anthologies, yo, that's you. You're going to be murdering in this on Kickstarter. And with that, folks, you know what to do. Check out not just Big Phillip Maira over here. You got to check out Almega, the real Almega everywhere. Comic Crusaders, Undercover Capes, the extended family. You know what to do, all right? And with that, thank you for joining me on this happy holiday. A salute to all our fallen soldiers. Much love and thank you for everything for real that you guys sacrificed and have done. May you guys be blessed. And just thank you, everybody, for just tuning in and listening on this holiday. Phil, you rule. Hasta la próxima. Wepa! Later. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.